It was the Battle of the Lukes, yes. It was Littler versus Humphries. Nearly 5 million people watched it. More people than watched the Ryder Cup, more people than watched the Ashes, the biggest ever Sky Sports audience that wasn't a major football game. And right in the middle of all of it was, of course, the referee, a man that's appeared before on this programme. He's so out there. I feel shy when I'm with him. Russ Bray.
No need to feel shy with me, Nigel.
Russ, what a week.
Fantastic, amazing. Absolutely, fantastic. 3 weeks, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's really caught on this last...
Once Littler's kicked in.
16-year-old lad. I mean...
Incredible.
Unbelievable. Fabulous finishes. And you were there. Well, you were closer than any human being to it last night. And there he was. He was 4-2 up. It's the first to get to 7 wins. And he was within a whisker, wasn't he, of going 5-2 up?
Certainly was. And that, missing the double, I think it was double two, missing the double two, that was just the crucial bit. Had he hit that, who knows what would happen? You can't take it away from Luke Humphries. I mean, the kid's world #1 going into that final. And he's sort of been dismissed a little bit, but everything's about...
It was tough for Humphries, wasn't it? Because the whole crowd wanted the youngster to win.
Of course, yeah.
And to get up in front of a crowd that are against you, well, I did it in the European Parliament for years, but it's not easy, but he kept his composure. He himself has been through a few problems. I know he's overcome depression and weight problems and all the rest of it. And he was cool as a cucumber all the way through, which I thought was absolutely amazing. I mean... You've been to 28 of these World Finals. You've officiated in them. How did the atmosphere last night compare to previous ones?
I would, without a doubt, say it was the best atmosphere I've ever called a game of darts in. I've been to Holland where we had 12,000 people in the crowd and it made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. There last night at the Ali Pali was the greatest atmosphere I've ever experienced.
And what is interesting isn't just that this is a 16-year-old phenomenon. And you occasionally see it. Emma Raducanu came from nowhere, age 19, won the US Open tennis as a qualifier, going through. And it can happen. A young prodigy can occur. What was really interesting was looking at the combined ages. So combined... well, it is interesting, because the combined ages of the two of them were 44. If you go back in the years that you've been doing this, you've had combined ages... up in the 80s, almost touching 90. And kind of, you'd have thought, well, maybe darts was one of those games that age wouldn't be a particular barrier to. And yet it does appear that the top darts players are getting younger.
Definitely.
And it also appears, this is hard to say, that these darts players don't even drink.
They don't. No, and that's the truth.
That's a cultural shock.
Exactly. I mean, the PDC have tried to, take the game out of the pub. And to be fair, most of the pubs now are closing down. A lot of them closing down, 400 a week these days. Where you go out for your traditional Sunday afternoon, have a game of darts, have a couple of pints, go home, have your dinner. That sort of system has gone now. That's way out the window. The PDC, Professional Darts Corporation, have brought in a development tour, a challenge tour, and then the main tour. So you've got that stages coming up. Well, these kids have got no fear. None whatsoever. They get up there, they get their darts, they've got a dartboard at home. You see kids of 4 years of age. Academies coming up.
What interests me about this, Russ, what interests me is this. We all knew the pub as being the place where darts was played.
Yep.
And then if you liked the game, you bought a board, put it up on a wall at home somewhere. Yep. I've got a couple of dart boards. I bet the millions of families they've got, and it's the kind of game. Really annoyed me, some of the commentators this week, talking about it as a minority sport. We've all played darts at some point.
Exactly.
And it's accessible for everyone, isn't it?
It's one of the cheapest sports you can have.
Yeah.
You don't need a team member to kick a ball to or throw a ball to or anything like that. You can do it on your own. You buy a dartboard, you buy a set of darts, and away you go. All you need is 7'9"1/4, a wall, and away you go. Yeah, and this is what the kids are doing.
Yeah, and mum gets upset because you miss when you go.
It's all old. That's got to replaster it.
So, and I get all of this, but what has been attracting youngsters to darts? You say young kids, age 4 up. What's been bringing them into it?
I think the exposure on TV. You've got darts on nearly every week. You've got the Premier League starting in February. That goes on for 17 weeks. So that takes you up to May. So every week, every Thursday night, you've got a darts tournament on TV. People tune in to see it because it is exciting. They're packed audiences in there anyway.
Yeah.
So when you actually go and see all these guys and girls playing their darts, they think, oh, yeah, I can do that. And then, of course, you've got the remuneration side of things, the amount of money that they can win as well. That combined with the exciting value of it,
but you've got to have Sky. But you've got to have Sky Sports.
Oh, it's got to be on TV. Yeah, it must be on TV.
So Dad's got to pay you, or Mum's got to pay you.
We do ITV as well. So Everton a little bit on ITV with the World Series. So but it is accessible. But you do need to be able to see it definitely. And we broke records yesterday. Certainly, as you mentioned there, with the viewing figures, it's bigger than the Liverpool-Arsenal football match sort of thing, And when you get that type of thing happening on Sky, which is a paid channel,
I think it's volumes. I think it's fantastic, and the whole thing's been. I've always loved watching darts, and the whole thing is a complete sensation. When you came on about a year ago, we did Talking Pints.
We did. That's right.
No pints because no, don't do that. We've all gone sober, but. One of the things we touched on when you were here last time was the idea that, like many other sports, academies were beginning to develop around the country. And it's pretty clear that young Littler has been involved
in academies.
So is he a direct product of that system, would you say?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. No two ways about it. I go to a couple of academies when I can. We've got one in Stowmarket, just up the way from me, where I live in Soham, and I drop down to Milton Keynes when I get the chance. That's two that I've been to recently. I want to get to a lot more when I get a little more time now. But when you see the kids there throwing, they're throwing on dartboards in comparison height to them or their age, and then you go round and then you go to the proper main balls where the older ones are in there. On a Saturday morning, when you get in there, it is fantastic. You see these kids, little dots, but also calling. There's a little lad calling, little Noah from Milton Keynes. He's actually calling senior darts, and he is 7. That's how good his maths is. That's how good a call he is. And his 180 is outstanding. It's incredible.
We'll come
that's
to that.
what it's about.
Well, listen, I've said before, Rishi Sunak wants everyone to stay on at school till they're 18 to be good with numbers. Just go and play darts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you get good mental arithmetic.
Yeah.
I think back, sort of Arnold Palmer appears in golf and suddenly kids in America want to play golf. We start to win cycling gold medals because we had an academy system that, to be fair to him, John Major helped set up, and everyone wants to cycle. Is darts about to explode?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to explode even bigger. It's big. It's big. It really is big. But with Luke Littler being a youngster, he's hit every tabloid, every newspaper, every piece of media you can think of. It's Luke Littler. Of course, the youngsters will relate to that. So youngsters don't say, Dad, Mum, give me a dart ball.
So these academies are going to be overflowing, aren't they?
Yeah, they will. They will overflow.
Is there any public funding for them?
No. It's all funded. It's all funded by themselves. The academy is formerly academy, and they basically fund themselves. They try and get sponsors and things like that.
Yeah.
I know the PDC do try and help out a little bit with various ones, but
well, it's going to happen.
It will do.
It's going to happen.
It's the future.
And your role. You've been a good darts player yourself. You've done many other jobs, as we discussed before, scaffolder and copper and all sorts. But for 28 years, you've been doing this, 14 finals you've done. Last night was your last one. Talk about going out on a high.
I know, fabulous.
But you're now going to become an ambassador for the PDC, an ambassador for the sport. Is that within the UK? Is it a global role?
No, it will basically be everywhere. But I will still do the Asian tour. So I'll be going out to Asia 8, 9, 10 times a year. Your Japans, your Chinas, your Singapores, Philippines, everywhere like that. Where we do have an Asian tour system in. And we're going to find an Asian Luke Littler, I reckon. We will. And if I find one, I will find 5 or 6, because Asia have the nature and the way they are, like they've done with the snooker, like they've done with golf.
Yeah.
They find one, the next thing you know, you've got 8 or 9. And they are getting better and better each year.
Russ, I think you're in for a very, very exciting time.
I think, very much so.
I think, as you say, the sport was growing around the globe anyway, in a remarkable way, the academies, etc. It's just going to take off. Well, listen, thanks for coming in. I know you've had a very, very busy few days. But just before we go off air, you've got to give us one of your legendary. What happens if somebody hits the triple 20 3 times? What does Russ Bray say?
Well, Russ Bray will then turn around and go, 180!
Well, there he is, Russ Bray. Thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Nigel.
And you can see, folks, why he's been known as the voice for all of those years. Well,